absolutely ridiculous. They'll believe anything. They'll believe anything. Maybe Round 2. Ding, ding, ding. Right,
ding.
so we're back with the Mei Xiangfa channel, and we've changed the hats, we've changed the drinks, and now it's on to the... Which segment we're doing? The No Idea segment,
No
right?
idea? 没想法.
Sure.
It's same name as our channel.
Yeah, the one we do every week where we see some ridiculous stuff and we try and point it out and find the issue behind it. But before we get into that, please, as always, like, share, and subscribe.
按赞,
分享,
分享,
订阅.
订阅.
I got it right today. Right, good. So, Abby, let's get straight into this. So, I want to show you my first one. I think you might have seen it. A few people have. Have a look at that picture.
That's so ironic. That's
Yeah.
so crazy.
If the Santa had batteries, he'd be laughing, right?
Do you have belly, Santa? Oh, yeah, you have one. Look at you.
Right, so, as you can see there, it's McDonald's.
It's like a Japanese McDonald's.
Is it Japanese or in China? Or I'm not sure
Or just
where.
an Asian McDonald's. Mm.
But I heard that the subtext behind this is that apparently the girl was hardly even pedaling.
He ate bite and she like do
Yeah.
the cycling for a little bit.
Do you think that thing is very effective?
Absolutely not.
It's like, come to McDonald's. You know, McDonald's, I've heard that even like a salad has crazy amounts of carbohydrates in those salads. Like a whole lot of sugar and a whole lot of other stuff, right? So I don't know how much cycling you're going to be able to do while you're doing that.
That's
while you're eating your food to actually burn off any kind of calories.
to reduce their guilty. They feel like,
Yeah.
oh my god, I ate like junk food. But no worry, you do some exercise, so you don't have to worry. You can eat the junk food with like a freedom.
So it's fake, right?
Fake?
Yeah, because I mean, no one's ever going to burn off enough calories to offset
No.
the amount of McDonald's. So it's basically a gimmick or a trick or something.
Just a
right?
trick.
Yeah.
They just said to like comfort the customers, the mind, it mentally comfort them mentally.
Yeah. So I mean, I also heard somebody saying it looks like an episode of Black Mirror.
Black Mirror?
You know Black Mirror, the TV show on
I know.
Netflix? Yeah, it looks like one of those Black Mirror episodes, right? You got to work for your food.
Oh, I know. I think the first episode, first or the second.
You know what? They're going to do this in Taiwan. I'm going to do it. I'm going to get into my gym clothes and put like a bandana on. I'm going like cycling.
Like a free gym.
Sweat fucking everywhere. Go eat my burger. Nobody will sit near me.
It's free. You can like just pay like a $30 $30 for a Coke, then you have
You
free
can sit
gin.
there, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Got free gym.
Free gin, got a free gin.
Actually, I don't think I could ever do this, right?
Huh?
It's like it's why I don't cycle to work. I'd love to cycle to work, but I sweat so much. By the time I got to work, I'd need a shower. I'd be literally dripping everywhere. I'd need to change of clothes. So, yeah, I don't think you'd want me there. I'd be eating the hamburger, sweating all over the place. People would be like slipping on the floor. So
that's one. That's not a valid point. They don't want people really exercise there. But
Sure.
you know, like a gym, World Gym, they have lots of cycle, like this kind of
Yeah, the
machine
bikes,
there,
yeah.
the bikes. But you know, lots of, like I say, lots of people, they were sitting on there, they watch video for movies or
and they go really slowly.
so
I see
they,
them.
or they even stop because the show is too
The show is
exciting.
too good.
They gotta stop. Oh my god. And they're gonna slowly doing it. And so what's the point?
I've never understood how people do that. Like when I go to the gym, I don't take my phone or anything. I've got the water bottle and a towel, and I go and sweat.
Because your purpose is really very obvious. You just want to exercise. But lots of people they go say, oh, so boring when the exercise is too long, 30 minutes. I couldn't
I see you
Indeed.
drank your champagne. Did that?
I drink it all.
How-
Finish, yeah.
How does your hangover feel? Did it work? It worked, right?
It works.
You know, in our culture, we call this the hair of the dog.
Heroes of dog.
Hair
Hair
of the dog.
hair of the dog.
Yeah, and so when you have a hangover, you have a beer in the morning, and you feel way better. So you can see you had a little bit of that sparkling wine, and all of a sudden now you feel much better, right? It's a secret.
That's good.
Yeah, hair of the dog. All right, let's move on to the next one. So we got another picture here. I don't know if this is real, but I did see it somewhere. So it says actual billboard going up in New Zealand. All right, and look at it. Remember to book your Christmas booster. Each booster gives you up to 6 months worth of freedoms.
No jab, no refunds.
No jab, no job, no.
No jobs.
So what do you think of that one? That's pretty ridiculous, right?
That's ridiculous.
Yeah. I mean, I thought freedoms and rights were things that were inalienable. You when you're
It's
born, you already had them. They can't be taken away.
That's a nature thing, or just. But it looks like.
But now freedoms seem to have an expiry date. They're
expired.
Yeah, they're also dependent on vaccines, right? Like, I don't think that any constitution or famous document was ever written saying that you had freedoms and rights, but that they were dependent on something, on you doing something. And also, I've heard that in New Zealand, they were saying, listen, this vaccination thing's never going to end. People are going to need to vaccinate well into the future.
Oh.
You see your face, you see? No idea. I can see it.
Just you couldn't imagine, because freedom is like a water or the air. You see, just a normal thing.
Yeah.
But somehow they bonded with like another stuff, which is
So basically, if you want
Mexican.
freedom, you have to behave first. You have to do what we say. Then we will give you. We will allow you.
We give you the freedom.
Because somehow this Jacinda Ardern person believes that she has the right to withhold and take away people's freedoms based on things, right?
They go, oh my Lord, thanks for giving me the freedom.
So somehow these politicians, I think, as you're pointing out, they feel like they are kind of like God, right?
They can decide what they can give to people.
Sure, but who gave them this right? I don't think I don't think so, right? I don't think anybody. I think they're trying to take it, and people are just saying, okay.
They just want to do that, like a falsely. I'll say, they do it at first and see how people react.
Yeah.
If we say nothing, they're gonna.
And the worst part is, once they've done it once and they've done it successfully, all the people who felt fear and went along with this, they'll do it again, and they'll do it again. And each time it'll get worse. Each time you'll lose more and more of your freedoms. And then one day you're going to complain and say, how did it get this way? Well, because you gave in every time.
Yeah, the people give them messages, say, yeah, we allowed you to do that. So they're going to change, they'll push a little bit forward and see, yeah, you didn't say, you didn't reject, you didn't refuse it, so we can push more.
So I would say this is a no idea one for these people in New Zealand. And the second one would be, if anyone who's giving these people this kind of power, no idea, man. I don't get it. A lot of people died. You watch movies, you'll see a lot of famous movies of people's lives, like Braveheart and whatever. People who fought for freedoms, who died, who put their lives on the line. That's how the freedoms were won. And now we just give them away. And give these crazy people the impression that this is okay for them to do, that they're allowed to do this. Right? And they're not. I mean, if you look at a lot of the famous documents that have been written in the world about your rights, it really goes against this. So please stop giving them this power.
I think they are really good at packaging. They cover it with the good intentions, so people wouldn't realize it.
Sure. Well, you know what they say, right? The road to hell is paved with good intentions.
Oh.
You never heard that? It's a good one, right?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, they will say you have to take care of the responsibility. You have to take care of others. I think that's the first reason they start to use that. And people are saying, yeah, I have to protect others. That's a good intentions, and it's good. It's from their morality, right?
Sure.
So, and that's the first impression. So right now, even though it seems not be true, but people still already have the image. Their subconscious just keep going and going.
Sure. But it's like we talked about before, like people who get on an aeroplane today, especially if you're young, that's the world you've grown up in. You think it's fine to take off your shoes and your belt and your everything. But for anybody who's a bit older, you look at that and you go, this is horrible. It was so different before. And if you go further back, like when they introduced ID numbers, like people were upset. Like, how dare the government have a number for me? Like, I'm not like some kind of a product or something. How can they have a number? So if the further and further you go back, you see these increments. You see what people thought about freedom in the past, and then how these government people slowly, piece by piece, just take it away. And this is another great example of that, right? Now people who are young, who see this, are going to think, well, it's okay for the government to withhold freedom. Whereas now, for a lot of people in the past, withhold freedom, I'm like, what are you talking about? That doesn't even make sense to me. But now some people it's normal for them. And that's what people, I think, my message to people most of the time is, once these people take something, you don't get it back. You think that, the virus will end and all these things will come back. Don't trust me. Look at history. Go back and look. And you'll see that when these people take stuff, it's very hard to get it back.
I know 911 is a really obvious example.
Yeah.
Is there any other examples?
Of times when people's freedoms went away?
Yeah.
I mean, we just talked about one, right? I mean, from ID numbers.
Oh, yeah, ID numbers.
And every time there's some new system, like you said, it's always put in place with a good intention. It's like, it'll be more convenient if you have this. But it changes, right? I mean, you hear all sorts of examples all the time. You hear about some places it's illegal to feed the homeless. Other places it's illegal to collect rainwater on your own land.
I know it's like, for example, like China, they put all their money into digital. It's seldom to buy things with cash. Lots of people will think, wow, it's really convenient. Like me, when I go into China, I was thinking, I don't really have to take cash. And even like when you go out for dinner, like 4 to 5 people together want to pay for it, they can spread it immediately. And you don't have to like take the change.
Yeah,
you know.
Oh, sorry.
You feel like
I just think it's so awesome, man.
So awesome.
I don't need to take change. Oh, yeah.
You don't have to take
Abby,
it.
say it one more time.
You don't need
say it one more time. You don't need to take
change.
Yes. Oh, what a benefit. I can't believe I used to live in a world where I had to take change.
It's a digital coin pool for you.
Yeah, I don't get it, man.
Yeah,
this is a sickness. I'm telling you, this is a sickness. In the world today, everybody's like, oh, I don't have to do this anymore. I don't have to take change. I don't have to do that. What do you mean?
But when you look back, you
good?
think if the government want to take back all your rights, it's so easy.
Yeah.
And if they want to block your money, they want to lock you down, they want to die, they just block your bank account.
Yeah.
Or because it's digital, they can just to make it like a zero immediately in
or if
1
they want
second.
to fine you, they'll just take the money directly out your bank. You don't have to go and pay the fine. They just will just take it out your bank.
Yeah.
And that's what they're doing now with this whole thing, right? I mean, they're limiting your access to society based on you doing what they want. And that's just
social
now.
credit.
Yeah,
Like
exactly. And for everybody who supports this bullshit, later when we have a truly social credit system and everything is just like an episode of Black Mirror, you'll know exactly who to blame. Look in the mirror. Because if you don't look at history and you don't see that these people do not give back what they take, and then you're not looking at history, your first problem. Secondly, you trust these people. Firstly, who the hell trusts a politician? It doesn't make sense. These people are not trustworthy. So you're trusting people who shouldn't be trusted. You're not looking in the past and seeing that they take and they don't give back. Do not complain later. As we say in Chinese, 活该. You're going to get what you deserve. The problem is other people who do see this, who are paying attention, are also going to suffer because of this crap. And that's what I don't like. So That's why they say I think freedom can only be understood by people who have a sense of the past and understanding of human nature. You know, you need to know what happened in the past to see how these untrustworthy people behave. And then you also need to understand human nature so that you can understand, you know, how people react to things and how you can be manipulated. They can make you feel fear. And when you feel fear, you'll give up your freedoms and your rights and then not get them back. But the thing I was talking to you about as well is like, it's a sickness, man. It's like everybody looks at society, I mean, not society, technology, and everything that's tech is good. Like, oh, I don't need to do this anymore. You know what? Cash is way better.
Yeah.
I always use cash. It helps me save.
Huh?
Yeah, because I put at the beginning of the week, I put money in my wallet. That's for that week. I can monitor and check it. If you just use cards and digital, it's so easy to
because
overspend.
you don't have feelings.
Yeah.
When you have to pay cash, you can feel the loss. You will see the number
Exactly.
decreased. But when you pay for digit, it's no feelings about it.
And then people say, what? I don't need to take change. That's so hard for you? Keeping change is such a huge issue in your life. But no, it's such a great thing. I don't need to keep change.
You know what I mean? Just like a small convenience, and
Yeah.
like people will sacrifice. They were left more.
You just
like,
said it. It's a small convenience, but at the same time, they don't realize that at the other side of that, there's a big loss that will come.
Yeah.
Once there's no more cash and they can do the things you were talking about, you'll be a slave to these people.
Yeah, it's a slave. Like you couldn't left out. I remember like when you work in China, you couldn't like transfer money to other countries or just exchange to another currency. They want you to keep the money into that.
Yeah.
And right now, if you couldn't have cash, so you don't have another ways to like
Sure.
take it out. That's
Yeah, and I mean, even like in America, they've made new laws. Like if you do a cash transaction over a certain amount, it now gets tracked. So this is happening slowly in lots and lots of different ways. War on cash. And once cash is completely gone, it's not gonna be a good thing. It might be good for a while, but it's the door and the opportunity for some people to do negative stuff. Like, can you imagine now if before COVID we'd already had a cashless society? How easy would it be to force people to get vaccinated? Well, your bank account. Can't use your money. Sorry. Your app won't work. Your QR code that you scan with it won't work until you get vaccinated. Yeah.
Oh.
How easy?
Yeah.
So easy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is why if you think about it, I don't think these people give a shit about vaccines. They care about the system so that later they can use that same system for other things. Like in Australia, we build a camp. Don't worry, it's only for international arrivals. And later, well, it's changed now. Too bad. What could people do? And so many people are just going along with all these things. So,
Oh.
yeah. I think people have lost their distrust in government somewhere along the line.
Huh? You mean like
They trust too much.
they trust too much?
Yeah. And that's a huge issue.
I think so. And what I remember, like when you pay, when I use my phone, I use Chrome, you know, like Google 浏览器. 然后, I buy things online, so you will record my credit card number. At first, I would rather to remember all the numbers by myself, but
Not so easy. You get
not so
many
easy
cards,
because it's
right?
really hard to remember all the numbers. So I just give up. Just okay, I let the Chrome to help me remember all my numbers.
Yeah.
But I don't.
All your passwords, you mean?
Yeah, in
Yeah.
even my password. But I think it's dangerous because Google knows lots of my
Sure.
my
And there's
privacy.
there's a bit of trust there in Google, right?
Yeah.
But when you look at Google, do you think they deserve your trust?
No,
I don't know. So
I don't know because I that is things like we all work in some company. We know like people not always perfect, so probably they're gonna make some mistake. They want to
Yeah.
look at it. So
Sure. But these technologies become so complicated that it's almost impossible for a normal person to see what's going on.
yeah.
And then every few months in the news, you hear huge hack, so many thousand credit card numbers gone missing, or I don't know. So yes, I don't know. I like cash. I like analog money.
Analog.
Yeah, like I got gold and silver and cash and all that, right? Because I mean, what happens if one day the ATMs don't work for some reason? ATMs don't work. You can't swipe.
You
what
can
are people
swipe.
gonna do?
You're
right?
little limited. The money number. I want to say, think about if you want to cash out like 100,000. They say no, sorry, you couldn't
Sure.
cash it for
Or
one
what
day.
happens? It just doesn't work. You can't withdraw any
Yeah,
money.
yeah. Like, are we gonna fix our machine? So being
That's why I always keep at least 2 to 3 months cash
oh
somewhere.
No. All right.
Yeah. So if
Just in
something
case.
happens, I got
Mhm.
enough cash. You know.
That's true.
Yeah. But that's the thing I suppose people need to have. You need to, I would say, your normal setting when it comes to governments and banks and all these people, you should start from a point of distrust, not start from a point of trust.
I see.
Yeah, because if you already distrust them and you're going to worry and you're going to check properly. But if you just give these people your trust, you know what, I would, but I don't see them taking my trust and doing something good with it. You know, that's an issue for
Because
me.
people are lazy, so they want other people to help them to do this.
Yeah. But I think that I was talking about this with somebody like yesterday, and people, it seems, have outsourced so many things in their lives to others so that they can work. Like, let other people take care of your kids, let other people teach your kids morals and values, you know, and the more you do this, I think the more problems you're going to have later on. Because if your kids grow up and they have the wrong morals and values, that's going to be on you. But why didn't you spend the time and teach them to your kids yourself? Because you were busy working and you outsourced that to somebody else. And maybe you had to, but maybe you didn't. Maybe you just need a bigger house, a bigger car. And it's always chasing, bigger, better, more. And at the same time, you're letting other people do those things that are important for you. So maybe that's the problem, right? Maybe we just trust too much, trust governments, trust banks, trust companies. You know, you don't want to remember passwords, let Google do it. You don't want to carry change, let the banks and the apps do it. And the more you give these people these small tasks, the less that you're doing them, the less in control you really are. And the more in control they are.
Yeah, they can control it.
And when one day everything gets bad, someone uses this like they're doing now, taking your freedom away, what can you do? Nothing.
Yeah, people lose their ability to control. Oh, okay. Even now, they say, okay, I give the right to you, but I don't know. You say, I don't know how to do that because it's been a long time you didn't do those things.
Exactly. Ask people to remember phone numbers today. It's a very good point. Whereas when I was a kid, man, we remembered phone numbers like you couldn't believe. And directions, stopping on the side of the road and saying to someone, hey, how do you get here? And listening to a direction and being able to get there without a map.
Remember all those
So
things.
you're exactly saying it right. People lose the ability to do it for themselves.
Yes.
Yeah.
I remember even when I drive home, I know the road exactly. But somehow I gonna open the Google map because I want to know how long I gonna how long I'm gonna take, or where is the traffic I possibly avoid. That's my purpose. But somehow I gonna follow the map's direction. You know, it's like
I try to stop doing that now.
Automatically, like you're gonna follow his route, even though I already know how to go. I think I think it's where I should stop it.
So like if I contrast that for you, like when I was younger in South Africa, like driving to work or somewhere in the morning was so different because you'd know 4, 5, 6 different ways to get to the same place. And you'd know like what time you were going, which road would be better.
Yeah.
If you went down this road and you saw that there were a lot of cars, then you'd quickly make a left and go in a different way.
Yeah.
And you actually learned a lot. You learned about the flow of traffic. You learned about different shortcuts. You learned how to make it. Whereas now people just don't have this ability. And if you think about that, that's really lateral thinking. You know, finding different ways to do the same problem. So the more we let these machines and computers and stuff do these things for us, the less we're going to be able to do them. And then even if we wanted to go back, we're not going to be able to go back.
Yeah, even we want to do that.
Yeah.
I don't know how to do that. Just for me, if I want to drive in Taipei without Google, finding by myself,
not easy.
wow, it's a challenge.
Sure, but Taipei is also crazy. It took me a long time to learn to drive here.
Oh, Taipei needs it.
And even the Google Maps girl doesn't know how to do it because there are a lot of roads on top of roads. And he gets confused. Turn left, turn right, continue straight. Like, every option, right? So that
You make it annoying. And sometimes the Google Maps will read the wrong GPS. They will think I'm in different places, and so you're gonna rerouting there. Just what the hell? I still on this train. I still on the same road.
Sure. So I mean, we got a little bit away from this, but I think the concept is the same thing, right?
Yes.
It's like people shouldn't be able to take your freedoms, but if you let them, then that will be your new normal. Same thing with technology. If you let these technologies do stuff for you, that's your new normal, and you're going to forget how to do those things for yourself.
You will forget how it looks like in normal.
So people should be careful what they outsource and what they let these machines and politicians and everybody do, because the more you do it, that becomes normal. And do you want that normal?
And it's like a frog in boiling water. So somehow, like this picture, you lose your freedom, but you don't know how to get it back.
Sure. And if you look around the world, there are all these protests. The one interesting thing for me has been, I haven't seen the governments change.
They don't care about the protest.
Don't care at all. The protests are happening, and what's
They don't
changed?
listen. They don't listen.
And you know what? We wait and see, because eventually people are going to make them listen. That's what happens. It always happens throughout history. The more you don't listen, the more you take away. Eventually, there are shitloads more of us than there are of you. And I think that they know, and I think they feel scared.
But they don't stop.
Not yet. That's why, because they feel scared. Because you know what happens when COVID and everything is over? People are going to come and find the people responsible. And I think these people are a bit worried.
They still they have to find a way out.
Yeah.
They still figure out. So before they think about it.
So we'll see. We'll see. I hope that the people who, if there's anybody responsible, that they get what's coming to them later.
Yeah. I hope this stuff can end it soon.
Sure. Anyway, this is Christmas, so we're supposed to be having a nice, easy discussion. So our last segment is going to be hopefully something a bit happier. We'll try. We'll see if we can do it happier. Right. All right. So let's please like, share, subscribe, and let's move on to the next one.
Yeah.
Okay. Right.